How's it going, everyone? I hope you had a great week. For this week, I have a topic that is slightly more serious than usual. We are talking about bad attitudes and politics in games development. Something that we don't talk about enough in this industry, and it's something that it definitely needs to be highlighted, because there's a lot of that going on around. So, let's talk about it in this week's episode. Before we get started, I need to actually highlight something that I keep forgetting in all my videos, and that is to like and subscribe. So please do if you haven't. Also, I'd like to actually highlight that you guys have a new button down below that says join. That is basically my membership animation club. So more updates on videos, more questions about what you guys like or dislike, private live chats, all kinds of goodness. Last but definitely not least, if you are into learning animation and if you want more of a personal feedback on your work, then my animation workshop might be beneficial to you guys. If you want more information, head over to my website, harveynewman.com. You can get definitely more information there about pricing and what you're gonna get with the animation workshop. I'm sorry, I really hate to actually promote myself, but it's kind of needed in order for you guys to actually, especially the new people that have been new subscribers, to know that there's much more than just YouTube videos in this channel. There's way more than that. So now that I've said all that, let's get started with this episode and talk about politics and bad attitudes in games development. The normal process of someone that actually just kind of is fresh from studying to being a professional animator in the games industry is a sense of wonder, right? You went from playing games and having a dream and working really hard at your dream to then finally making it and working with people that you used to look up to. And I was just talking with Jeremy on my live QA on this past Saturday. Check it out if you haven't. What I was saying is that every time someone comes fresh and starts in the industry, I can almost relieve my sense of wonder that I had when I started through them by seeing how awesome they actually see everything, the love for the games industry, what games they like, why they like it. That stuff is amazing, gives me energy as well, and most people that I know feel the same way. Having said all that, that's all good, and you should definitely embrace it because it only comes once. So that is the good stuff, the stuff that actually makes you kind of like pumped right at the beginning. So when do the bad attitudes start to happen? Let's talk about it next. This exists in every single studio that I have been, and probably exists in every single studio out there. I haven't heard of seeing any studio that really doesn't have someone like this. Someone that has been in the industry for a very long period of time, and perhaps for one way or the other, any number of reasons, they actually fell out of love for the industry or fell out of love for the job that they are doing. It kind of brings the whole team down or brings you down because these people have a tendency to be slightly more bitter, especially in meetings, especially if they are leads or directors, right? Because it then affects everyone under them. And that actually becomes a problem for everyone that is working under them because unknowingly to them, they're actually making the whole vibe of the team just negative and everyone doesn't feel the same way. So that is one way of actually seeing the bad people that actually go into the industry with these attitudes. There is also this other attitude that I'd like to highlight here that perhaps is not as bad, but still kind of bad, which is ego. Ego actually getting in the way of work. So people that came out of their studies, whatever they decided to study, and they were big shots for one reason or the other. So they come into the industry very fresh, very green, with very little knowledge. And they have this attitude that whatever you tell me doesn't count because I know better than you already. And they just joined the industry, right? So this is also a bad attitude to have and normally becomes negative for the whole team because all of a sudden, like, who is this guy or this girl? They came in here and thinks they're like they Mr. Lord, whatever, and they think they are better than us and they just got started, right? So my experience tells me those are the two main bad attitudes that you can find in games development. Now, doesn't matter if it's one or the other. What you should do, personally, is not be affected by this negativity. I have worked under people that have that attitude. I have worked with people that have attitudes that are very egotistical, they are very selfish, and they don't listen to anyone else but themselves. And both things are equally as hard. And there were times that I genuinely felt bitter towards them. I have done nothing to you for you to be towards me that way. And you're making my life difficult for no apparent reason except for you just had a bad day. So what you should do when you found these situations, and I'm sure that you will find them when you get into the industry if you're not in already, is throw positivity their way. And I know it sounds hard, especially when you're like in a high pressure environment. If you're crunching, if you have a lot of work, then obviously you just want to like lash out just like them. But be the bigger man, the bigger woman, and kind of like throw positivity towards them when they throw nothing but negativity towards you. Because what has happened to me, and has happened to others, is that if you are that positive person, if you are that person that actually kind of infuses energy into the team while they are sucking all the energy out, people have a tendency to gravitate towards you, the positive person, instead of the other person that is negative. Negativity, no one likes negativity, and it's just kind of like keeps people away, right? I mean, don't actually kind of bring that stuff towards me. So if you are that positive person, if you are that person that has not only the talent, but the answers, and also does it in a positive manner, people will start kind of like to gravitate towards you and see you as a natural leader. And that's what you want in the end, because negativity never really kind of lasts a long period of time. No one likes to be led by someone that has a heavy hand. Eventually you will start losing people because people don't like to be forced to do something or work in a way they don't really feel comfortable in. Instead, working with a positive leader, working with someone that is positive, people actually want to work with you no matter about the money, the situation, or whatever it is. They just want to work with you because it feels like you're working with your mate. And that's a much better place to be when it comes to being negative or positive about your job. So keep it positive. Don't allow yourself to actually kind of be down by that negativity, and like be that person that actually kind of is different and just is positive about it and just loves their job no matter what. Because also your career will become longer because you will constantly remind yourself about why you're here and why this is so awesome. And 10, 15 years from now, you're still gonna love it as much as the first day, just like I do. As an animator, junior animator, starting in the industry, you don't really understand it. You know something is going on behind the scenes, but you don't really understand it because it's only like people that are leaders or people that have like a very senior, they kind of just like talk about it and take decisions. So politics on the background. However, when you actually start kind of like getting some seniority, be a senior animator, you eventually will get some of that politics backlash one way or the other. And it's gonna hurt and it's gonna be weird, and you're probably not sure what to do because people are actually trying to get to their goals in a very roundabout way. And if you are a purist like I was before, in terms of like I just want to work in my craft and that's about it, it's gonna hit you even harder because you don't understand why people are actually talking about other things that don't have anything to do with animation to get to the end goal of the animation. So this politics side of the games industry is something that happens especially on AAA companies that are very big, because there's a lot of decisions to be taken, and because there's a lot of decisions to be taken, there's always someone that wants to take advantage of that situation to propel themselves higher to a better position, to getting more money, whatever it is, right? So this is what I mean by politics. So one thing is for sure, you don't want to play that ball game no matter what it takes. You want to actually be that person that working hard is finally what matters most, and showcasing the work and making the work shine is the stuff that matters most. Sometimes those politics actually even start influencing players, right? The end product ends up being not so good, and it's mostly because people were discussing things in the background so much that they lost track of the final goal, which is making a good game for the end player. So this is why you don't want to get caught up on that stuff. So you are making a game for the end player that needs to be the best game possible. If you keep that thought in your mind at all times, you will see that you actually eradicate 90% of the politics that will come your way. The industry, even though it feels huge from the outside, inside the games industry is very small. I feel like most people know each other, either by name or personally. So you want to make sure that your name is clear of all that rubbish that actually goes with politics and bad attitudes, because as soon as people know that you're that guy, it means that you are not good for one or the other company that you wanted to go to. Work hard, do your job honestly. Don't get caught up with all this politics, especially don't get caught up with having a bad attitude or being that guy that does this thing that no one likes and brings the whole team down. Because at the end of the day, we're making games, and games is fun. So let's have fun making them. Because based on my experience, when you have fun making a game, people will have fun playing the game. It hit me like a brick when I found out that even though I came to the industry with the best attitude possible, and even though I felt like I worked my whole young adult life to get into games and like animate, right? I thought as soon as I make it in, that's it. I'm going to be happy no matter what, because nothing can really affect me after this. I mean, I've worked in so many crap jobs, right? Before, like I served tables and I washed dishes, and I thought nothing really is going to affect me in this games industry, because I mean, I have to sit down in a place and animate 8 hours a day, so I'm going to be fine for the rest of my life. Nothing is going to affect me. I'm just going to be creating and feeling good all the time. The reality is very different. When you get actually caught up for a few years, because that's what it takes to create a game, a few years, eventually it becomes almost like that Big Brother house, right? That place that people actually are cool with in the beginning, but eventually like the people start bickering and people start kind of like telling on each other, or something is not right. And it happens in every company, because that is the nature of the beast. And I'm pretty sure it's not just games, it's in every single industry. You need to be that person that actually is very strong when it comes to like personality, when it comes to being convinced that you are a good artist, that you believe in your skills, that you have your own way of doing things. You need to be that person that brings that energy that you want to see, in order for others to be like, I want to replicate this guy instead of replicating this other guy. You definitely don't want to be the guy that everyone's like, well, the game is great, but then, you know, people crunched and they were treated horribly or whatever it is. So yeah, so that's basically my 2 cents when it comes to bad people in politics and in the games industry. It's not really a lot. This is actually the minority of people are like this, so I want to actually make sure that that is said. Most of the people in this games industry is actually really cool to work with. This is why I've been here for so long, because generally most people are here for the love, for the passion, and they want to do it. But from time to time you find these people and you need to watch out, and this is why I'm making this video, so you guys are aware of this and make the most of it. And that's all I had for you guys this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next week, stay well, stay safe. Peace.